Am I satisfied with league state right now? So I can only speak to that in terms of personal preferences because I'm not at work right now. In terms of my personal preferences, I'd say overall there's a lot of cool stuff going on. I like how they updated the items. I think if I was to say two frustrations, I would say that I think there's a number of characters who ended up being nerfed by the item changes, but don't look nerfed in terms of like their win rates, and they might be suffering a little bit. So this is like there's just a number of characters in League who like can sit around 50% win rate and kind of be in a rough spot. And then the other one, the bigger one would be is that I do think that characters who are supposed to burst you are having a bit of a hard time of it, from my personal experience. So this is the assassins, specifically AD assassins, certain AP assassins, not all of them though. I think some of the AP assassins are doing fine. And then also just like if I play Blitzcrank in lane and I hook an AD carry, it feels like I don't have an easy time killing them early. Of course, Blitzcrank probably shouldn't be one-shotting AD carries as the game progresses, but you know, it just does feel kind of hard to kill people. And so overall, I would say game's pretty cool. I think I like what the team is doing. I think there's been a lot of good changes. I wish burst was a more viable strategy, and specifically burst through assassins and characters who want to be assassins at certain points in the game. I think that's the thing that feels a bit missing to me, is a lot of character. It's just people feel kind of tanky to me. That's how I've been playing, at least. Don't know if that's shared by everybody else. The other thing is, I think there's one other thing that feels a bit off to me. Again, personal opinion, and that is I don't know if I'm a big fan of the barrier meta. You know, we've had lots of different things AD carries can build over the years. Sometimes they run Ghost, sometimes they run Heal, sometimes they run Exhaust, Cleanse, etc., etc. I personally am not much of a fan of, after having played it, like for the last couple weeks, I'm personally not a big fan of Barrier being one of the better spells AD carries can take. It feels like it's kind of one of the more boring ones of the spells. Like Cleanse, Exhaust, Ghost, Heal, they all have like a lot more context and interest to how you cast them and when you cast them. And on top of that, its cooldown is so low that it feels like it's always up. And so, that said, there's definitely problems with other metas, like if every AD carry takes Exhaust, what do Assassins do? If everybody AD carry takes Ghost, they're just super mobile, right? Like there's definitely potential issues with any given summoner spell that AD carries take, but I don't know, I've just found that Barrier to me feels like it's a combination of kind of boring, and then also just feels like AD carries just tend to have like 200 to 300 extra health every time you fight them, which has felt rough to me as a person who aspires to kill AD carries with my Blitzcrank support before level 6. So yeah. Anyways, I don't know. It's a hard thing though. I'm not saying Ghost meta would be better, but I have been kind of feeling like the barriers just feels a little stale to me as a support main. Why is it that some bugs never get fixed? Victor W not stunning is Balloon Gish for 10 years. It happened 50% of the time. So Victor W not stunning, I mean, it's supposed to have a build up, so I'm not sure if you're like talking about a specific thing. But if you're wondering like why a bug hasn't been fixed, and let's say it's been in the game for 10 years, as you're claiming, so it's probably one of three things. Either A, we just don't know about it, which if it's been in the game for 10 years, I'd assume wouldn't be the case in this case. But, you know, we're not omnipotent. Sometimes a bug we just don't know about. But especially if it's been a while, that's usually not the case. B, it might not be a bug. Like, you might think it's a bug, but we might not think it's a bug. So sometimes I'll have a player come up and they'll be like, dude, there's this combo you can do on Riven that's, like, super crazy, and that's clearly bugged. And it's like, nah, that's just how she works. That's the point. So sometimes what you think is a bug might not be a bug. As an example, a lot of spells in League of Legends have fuzzy end times. Fuzzy end times is... a lot of CC has this, where its duration is actually slightly variant. So, as an example, Morgana's 3-second root is not actually a 3-second root. It is between a 3 and 3.249 second root. And this is the case for, like, many CCs or debuffs in League of Legends, and many buffs as well. They have these fuzzy end times. And so sometimes someone will come in and be like, hey, August, there's this bug where this CC doesn't always last exactly 1.25 seconds. And depending on the CC, that might not be a bug. Depending on the CC, that might be one of the CCs in the game that has a fuzzy end time. Zonya's Hourglass has a fuzzy end time when the debuff, the gold aura wears off. So there's that. So yeah. So either we don't know about it, It's not a bug. Or number 3, and this one can often be a very real thing, is that we might know about it and it might be a bug, and it might just not be possible to fix in any easy way that doesn't break things further. And so some bugs go unfixed because it would be worse if we fixed them, or we don't have a good way to fix them. Oh, someone wants me to wear the cat ears. Okay, Fabricio, I got you. So, yeah, that's the thing that can happen with bugs. And so, like, as an example, when I was working on the Rengar rework, like when we kind of reverted him, there was a number of bugs I ran into that I just couldn't fix. And I tried real hard. But there was this one bug he had where, like, if he put in a certain number of inputs at the exact same time, it would, like, discard his attack command. And it felt really awkward, and so I really wanted to fix it. But by trying to fix it, all my solutions to fix that bug created, like, other attack command issues with Rengar. And so it was kind of a thing where it's like, yes, it was a bug, but it wasn't worth fixing, especially given that I was going by fixing it, I would break him in other ways. Another thing about bugs is that some bugs aren't worth fixing because they don't matter. Now, I want to be clear, that's not me saying, oh, you ran into this terrible bug on your champion, we're just not going to fix it because who cares? No, it's like, but some bugs, like as a stupid example, if like Aphelios does 1 less damage on his crescent gun only during the full moon, that's probably not a bug worth fixing because it's low impact and infrequent, right? And so that's another thing you have to weigh when you're a game dev is some bugs legitimately exist and potentially could be fixed, but might not be worth the time to fix if they are a combination of low impact when they happen and very infrequent or rare. So as an example of something in the game right now is Viego still has a lot of bugs. Surprise. Who would have guessed that the Ruined King of the bugs, would have more bugs? But at this point, many of the Viego bugs that exist only happen when he gets this like perfect string of possessions with the right champions in the right order, casting the right skills at the right time. So it's like he possesses Lee Sin and uses the Q, but doesn't use the Q2, and then kills Shaco and possesses Shaco, and then throws the Shiv, and while the Shiv is in the air, he turns into Katarina, and the Shiv turns into his Nazir Tower. Like, that's the kind of bug that Viego actually has a very real number of now. But those bugs just don't happen in any, like, real game of League of Legends. And so it's a thing where we could hunt them all down and eviscerate them, but for the most part, he's bug-free enough that, like, unless you're, like, Vanderil and, deliberately trying to get them to happen, they're just not going to happen in a actual game of League. And so that's another thing to think about when thinking about bugs.